Hey everybody, I wanted to make a quick addendum to the last video. Is that how you say that? Addendum? Whatever, probably. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and explain myself a little better because while I still agree with almost everything I said, I think that I could have explained some parts a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly do that right now. So, first things first, and probably the most obvious point that I wanted to address, I did something completely unforgivable, which will likely get my Greybeard license revoked. And I understand it's completely unforgivable what I said. I called the rival nemesis the Menace. That was just completely disgusting, despicable behavior, and truly pathetic for someone who's as experienced as myself with this game. I should have known better. So I just wanted to say, even though I know the community will never be able to move past this and will never forgive me, I am genuinely sorry for that. Okay, now for real, being a little bit more serious, joking aside, I did want to say I think I was a little bit too mean in one part, where I talked about how I don't care about the arcade machine in the space rig. I still kind of agree with that, obviously, but I don't think how I worded that was very productive. I am less interested in space rig content, and I still feel that they should focus on the actual main gameplay, but I think it was a little bit rude of me to say I don't care. I don't think it was a very productive way to phrase that. So those are pretty much the only two corrections, as it were, that I'm going to be making. I just wanted to sort of highlight those real quick before I get into trying to explain some of my points a little bit better. So the first main point I wanted to address that I got a lot of comments about is where I said that new enemies were the only thing being added in Season 4. That's not exactly what I said, but that's the idea that a lot of people got from it. And that's not me blaming you. That's 100% on me. I didn't word it very well. So just to explain real quick, obviously they are adding more than just new enemies. What I was talking about there was how every season so far has kind of had the main content and then the seasonal content. At least it's how I've been breaking it down in my head. The main content is kind of like the headliner, the big focus. So for Season 1 and 2, that was the new weapons. That was kind of the main focus of the update. Season 3, it was the new grenades. And Season 4 has just the new enemies. And so what my complaint was there, as I go on to explain, is that I don't think new enemies are going to be enough to support a weak season. So that's what I was trying to imply there. I know it made it sound like I thought that new enemies were the only thing that we're going to be adding. Obviously there's going to be more, just like how for the previous seasons. Although the new weapons were the highlight, as it were, there was a lot of other stuff, even aside from seasonal content added. So just wanted to make that clear. Obviously, new enemies are not the only thing. I just think they can't support another weak season. The next point of confusion I wanted to get to that I saw a lot in the comments was I didn't explain what my alternative to the season content would be very well, so I just wanted to kind of quickly go through that. So, like I just mentioned actually, with there sort of being the main focus, like the grenades and weapons, and then the season content, and then on top of that, cosmetics, I think their attention is getting split too many ways. So what I would like to see is them going back to the previous update format, where instead of everything needing to be packed together all in one big bundle, they can kind of split it out into several updates. So do one focusing just on the rock pox, because I think, like I mentioned, the rock pox needed a bit more work done on it. And I think that if they had just done an update focusing almost solely on that, it would have been a lot better overall. And then have an update focusing just on the new grenades. And then that way we can have some updates that take a little bit less time than others. Now, I don't know, maybe they could just take more time and flesh the new grenades out even more. I don't think they needed to, but I think splitting things up like that would make updates a bit more frequent, and they could take more time to work on bigger stuff if they needed to, instead of kind of forcing everything into one big bundle. So splitting everything up is kind of the format I would like to see them go in, if Season 4 is not very good. And that's kind of another thing, actually, just to touch on real quick. I'm willing to acknowledge that I could be wrong on this, and that Season 4 will be amazing. Like, they're only 3 seasons in. I kind of mentioned that this is sort of the very beginning of it. It's taken a long time, but they've only done 3. It's kind of hard to pick up on a pattern on that, but I just really wanted to put the idea down early so that if things continue to be a little weak going forward, we as a community will have another option for them available on the table. That's pretty much just what I wanted to say. Obviously, I think that another route is continuing to improve it and just make the seasons better, but I found that that's not really helpful to say. It's not really helpful to just be like, oh, just get good. Just do seasons, but better. There's not really much of a discussion to be had there. The final thing that I would like to address here in this video is something that I was kind of concerned by, honestly. So, I got a lot of negative response to this video, which was totally understandable. I promise this is not me coping, seething, and malding about getting some negative feedback. The comments were very nice for the most part. I think the rudest thing I got was someone calling my opinion stinky. That was about the worst that it got. But there was a type of comment that I saw over and over again that made me really concerned. And that comment was essentially, shut up and stop criticizing the game because we get the updates for free and the developers have been good to us. And, it's understandable. The developers have been really good to us, and I don't think the developers are going to start doing really bad stuff. I think that they're just kind of making some very small mistakes here. Small and completely understandable mistakes. But the issue I have with that is the whole thing of just stop criticizing them. And I'm very worried that the community is going to start falling towards toxic positivity. Just because the developers have done good things in the past, this does not make them immune to ever making a mistake. They can make mistakes, and it's very, very important that we talk about those mistakes and we address it. Even if I'm completely wrong in all the criticisms I made in my previous video, I think it's still important to be able to talk about it. And while I did not have this issue in my video, I'm kinda scared that eventually what's going to happen is that people are going to get harassed for criticizing this game. And, you can say that I'm overreacting and being overdramatic, and I hope I am. I really, really hope I'm being overdramatic, but it's very easy for a community to fall down a path of just not letting anybody criticize it and becoming way too defensive. And that is my fear, is that you will not be able to criticize the game without people leaving tons of really awful comments and harassing you. And so I kind of wanted to make a statement here to be like, hey, stop it. Don't do that. Now, I want to make it very clear, I'm not saying that you can't disagree with me. Obviously, you can feel free to disagree with me, and there are plenty of people that have constructive disagreements with me. But this sort of attempt to just dismiss me and to just say shut up and don't criticize the game, that's not helpful. That's not good for the sake of discussion. You can totally disagree with me. You can say, I disagree with you. You don't even have to get into an argument. You don't even have to make any points. You can just say, hey, I really don't agree with what you're saying there. But never just say, shut up and don't criticize the game, because that's not a helpful mindset. And I think it's going to make the game a lot worse overall if we start going down that path. So that's pretty much everything I had to say on this. I know some people weren't a huge fan of the scriptless format, but oh my god, it has made it so much easier for me to make videos instead of having to work on scripts for hours and do all this editing. Being able to make these quick and easy videos is just an absolute lifesaver for me. So I hope you'll forgive me if I do these a little bit more often, where I just kind of ramble about some stuff. I'll try to make it a bit better. People brought up that I could have made it a bit stronger and that doing some scripting would have been a bit better. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make like a bullet points list so I have something to follow. But I really like this style. It makes it super easy for me to make videos quickly, and I'm really enjoying it. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.